Live video is starting. Hi, everyone. It's day 3 of my lives. I slept well, if you're wondering. Went to bed early and slept, so I feel rejuvenated, more rejuvenated. A bit of a sore throat, but oh well. Today, craving relationships or craving a partner. So again, I asked, as I do before each one, because I'm not sure, how can I help today? And it was to discuss the cravings of being in a partnership. Now, a little history about me is that I think, because I can't really remember much before 8 years old. Maybe 8 is like my conscious memory. But from 9, I believe that I found out there was a thing called soulmate, and I was like latched onto it. I'm like, I can't wait to find my soulmate. When I find my soulmate, I can be myself. I will be loved. Somebody will be there to love me, to understand me. I can just be myself, whatever that self was, and I was like excited. There was always this. It was like the carrot that I kept following is like, well, when my soulmate comes, he'll get me. He'll lavish me with love. He'll unconditionally give me everything I desire. He'll just hug me and love me and talk to me and find me wonderful and amazing, and we'll get along so well. And I know everyone understands this. But that was the thing from a 9-year-old perspective. It was soulmates and, of course, movies. Wasn't that many back then, but the movies I would watch would have these romantic, amazing love stories where you would connect with someone who just gets you exactly the way you are and loves the way you look and who you are and everything. And so this was the dream. Because I felt that I wasn't heard or understood or seen in my childhood, I developed this utopic idea of a soul partner that would give me everything that I couldn't experience from those around me that I expected unconditional love from, not knowing that they too, because now I'm older, they too had their own things and issues and problems and worries and fears and concerns and stresses and whatever, that they weren't, a lot of parents are too busy in their own world of like whatever their trauma was and their stresses are to really give the unconditional love to their kids. No fault of anyone, it's just the way we are. And so I developed this utopic idea of a partner. And that's when I told myself that's when I'll give myself the freedom to finally let go and be myself, because I was a lot quieter. I laughed a lot. I was very joyful as a kid. I wanted to uplift everyone, so I wouldn't burden anyone with my issues. And if I had any feelings, I would just completely deny them. So I was very, very disassociated with myself, and my attention was all on others, bringing them up. So I was hoping when I find my soulmate, I can reassociate with myself, be my true self, whatever that was, and I'll be accepted and loved and belong. And so this stayed with me forever. Surprise, and my life was lovely. Like I did lovely things in my life. And as you all know, or don't know if you're new here, I married a narcissist. I dated a lot. I was hardly ever single for too long. And if I was single, I either had a crush on someone or someone had a crush on me. I mean, this is the way it worked, right? I liked someone, somebody liked me. I tried it out, didn't. But I was always in search of this one partner where I would feel completely at home with, completely free with. And woe and behold, of course, due to who I was, people-pleasing, codependent, you name it, highly sensitive, very empathetic, all of those wonderful traits, I, of course, naturally just attracted a narcissist, because in my dream world, it was like, oh, I want somebody to love me and all that stuff. And of course, the love bombing phase of every narcissist is complete acceptance of who you are, and in awe of who you are, and putting you on a pedestal and everything. So I was like, I found him, although I was not attracted to him at all. Like something, my whole body was like, stay away. But of course, I didn't. And then got divorced. You could read my book, Happily Ever After. It's beautiful. It's like the whole experience. Anyway, after that, left that, got divorced, was broken, was suicidal, I was demolished, my happy, optimistic self had died, and yet I still craved deeply to find the soulmate. I was like, well, the soulmate will save me from feeling this shitty and suicidal. And I was seriously suicidal. And I was just screwed in the head. Like, I was just not me. I was just angry, frustrated. I was, mad at God. I like denounced God, and I was like just in a horrible place for 3 years as I started to like heal, and then I shifted careers from interior design to what the healing sphere. Anyway, so then I remarried. I was still very desperate because I wanted somebody to love me, and I married somebody who was a friend for 10 years and loved me, but I just never felt anything for other than a friendship. And I said yes. Everyone around me was like, go for it. Of course, this person has loved you. You made a bad choice the first time. So I didn't trust myself. I just wanted to be loved. I was desperate to be loved. I was desperate to be like in the white picket fence, the husband, the kids, the home, and feeling safe and secure and all that stuff. So I did get married again. Luckily, because everything was done for me, I got 2 beautiful children out of that marriage, which were my soul partners that came down because I was really not in a good place most of the time. But sadly, that relationship was also extremely abusive, and but more in a covert sense. It was very, very, very demeaning to only start to discover that this was all within me. I was allowing all this to happen to me because of the idea of it's meant to look this way. So I would try to hold the relationship. 4 years now divorced. 4 years completely and utterly single. Completely single. I mean, nothing. I tried to get on the apps like at the very beginning, like years ago, and I was repulsed by it. Like, I was like, this is not how I can't. And I think I went on one date in the 4 years, and I just couldn't. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm choking. Oh my God, look at my body saying, ugh. Anyway, so I was still healing that, the craving of a partner, the craving to be loved by someone, to be touched by someone, to communicate deeply with someone, to feel like I've come home, I was looking for home all the time. And of course, I'm going to move forward now to today. And during the journey of the healing of myself, of discovering who I am and trusting myself and all that, of course I discovered that I need to love me first, and if I love me, I'm my soulmate, I'm my partner, and I went through all that, and it was lovely because it opened me up more to myself. However, in the background of my mind, I thought that once I healed me, and I fix my wounds, and I like figure out my ancestral wounds and figure out my child wounds and my traumas and release all my relationship angst and all that stuff, and I stop wanting it. Like, you hear a lot of stories, and I heard them a lot. I used to ask every person. I have soulmate stories till forever and a day. So and most of the stories that you'd find the perfect couples together where they're in harmony were the stories of when I let go of being in a relationship, when I stopped thinking about it, when it wasn't a thing, when I started to have fun with my life, my perfect partner showed up. So of course, all I wanted was my perfect partner to show up. So I did everything to pretend that I wasn't waiting for it. So it was more of like, let's say this is the desire, right? Desire perfect partner, feel at home. And this is me like pushing my head, like, don't look at it, and my eyes are still, don't look at it, pretend you don't want it, pretend you don't want it. And so I lived like that for a while. Most of my life I was living like that because of the stories I heard. and I just, got married to and very unhealthy relationships. But in general, even when I was doing the healing, that was my concern. Like, I still want him to come. I want him to enter, but I have to pretend that I don't want it. But there was this craving inside. I need a partner. And then as I started to resolve and trust myself more and love myself and do my self hugs and, pamper myself and talk to myself and go all that, as I had discussed earlier, I was going through self-trust. I was learning how to trust myself and my intuition and who I am and my thoughts and my beliefs, and trust myself in all what I do. What happened is it shifted a little bit, and my standards went really high, right? Because I started to treat myself so much better. There was less judgment in my head about me. There was less craving for the partner. There was still I want that, but there was less craving, because it was as if I was filling myself up with all the reasons I wanted someone in my life. I was able to speak more, share my truth. I was different. Things were changing. The more I went in, the more I meditated, the more I centered, the more I discovered me. But the notion of, well, if I heal all this, it was still a whisper. If I heal all this, I'll meet someone. I must have done something wrong to attract the crap. I must have done something, like there must be something wrong with me for attracting those kinds of men. And I truly believed that. I believed that there was something wrong, but in reality, there wasn't anything wrong with me. I just didn't believe myself or trust myself at the end. Like, I didn't value me. I didn't value my peace of mind, my freedom, my sense of self, my expression, my voice, my desires, my needs. I didn't value my needs, what I wanted, how I wanted to live my life. I didn't value me as much as I valued the idea of a soulmate. And so strangely enough, well, for now it's been a few months, and I'm like, it was like constantly being resolved within me, and I would just see another thing show up and be like, oh. Or when I would start to panic, like when the economy would go down, or I want to travel, or there was like a big decision, or I have to shovel the snow outside, that's when I would start, or I'd feel alone, I would start, I wish for a partner. Oh, it would be so nice to have a partner, and somebody to come home to, and somebody to speak to, and somebody to feel safe with. And these would be the moments in time that I would feel like, why I want someone here. Oh my God, I think I am getting the flu. Don't want to be home and not do things. Anyway, so as that started to leave, the craving for a partner, so I discovered that the craving of a partner was to feel safe. And the craving of the partner was mainly to do with the times that I was not completely in my power, or I was not in complete trust of myself, or I was not in complete serenity at home in my home, right? This is when I craved it the most. This is when I wanted it the most. When I felt alone is when I wanted it the most. But the days where I was like, my life was fulfilled, I'm aligned to Source, I'm with Source, the day is unfolding beautifully, I'm actually having a really good day, or so much fun, or things are just happening. And I started to analyze the difference. The other one feels less of me, feels like I need someone because I'm just not in a good place. And to only discover, well, I don't want somebody in my life just because I'm not in a good place. I want someone in my life because I'm in a great place, even if I'm feeling like crap and I'm in that depressed mode, but I'm still grateful about it. I'm still in a good place. And they come in. And if they do, they do. And if they don't, they don't. But the value of being single has started to change. I'm not saying I'm like, woo, no, I'm completely human. And I want a relationship, and yet my margin, the where I want it, is somewhere, like if it doesn't match how I see myself, how I respect myself, my freedom, my the value, like when I speak, I respect myself when I speak, and I would need that in return. Someone, so the way where it is high. And I hear a lot of clients say, well, maybe what I want is too high up there. I need to bring it down. And I used to, no, you don't bring it down because of the fear of being alone, right? You don't bring your value system down, what you expect, how you expect to be treated or loved by anyone, down because you're afraid of rejection. You're afraid to be alone. You're afraid that you're unworthy without a relationship. There's this dying fear, right? But last night I had this dream that completely confirmed what I received a few months ago that I was still working through, right? Which is still going through the trust of God and understanding God. But yesterday I had this amazing dream. And in the dream, I don't have a vivid, I just know what it was. But in the dream, for some reason, I remember clearly just knowing that the soul partner I've been looking for since I was 9 was, me. That was a journey on its own, and I think I've gone to a new journey, which is that soul partner is Source. Like, that's my truest soul partner, because I'm befriending God now. God is like, when I'm feeling something, I just speak to God like God is a friend now, and it feels really nice. And I'm like, has it been God all along? Has it been Source, the divine, my creator, that has been my soul partner? It makes sense. If I'm looking for that one soul partner to be comfortable with completely and be my friend and have incredible times together, it is that. Of course, there's the sexual aspect, and there's human desires. For some reason, I don't have them right now at all. Like, that is not my drive in any form at all. I feel blessed because it's not giving me that hunger to just go for anyone and anything to fulfill that desire right now. And there's nothing wrong with that desire. It's a human, it's beautiful, but it's not where I'm at and haven't been. And my truest desire is to discover me, to discover Source, right? So we want companionship in our lives. Notice when you desire it, what fear is showing up for you. What is the attachment to having it? I understand on the superficial level, it's, well, I'd like to be hugged and I want to have sex and I want somebody to care for me and call me and check up on me and make me feel that I exist, that I'm significant. I want to feel significant to someone, that somebody's committing to me and I'm significant to them. I get that. I completely get that. However, let's just go to a different space with that and just, what if that already exists in your life? All the things you want actually exist. But when we're hyper-focused or zoned into it having to look like a partnership, specifically from a partner, in my case, the opposite sex, a man, I'm missing out on all the love that I'm actually being given and growing through. Friends that are popping out of nowhere just loving me. Your kids, if you're mothers, your children. The closest thing you will ever get to unconditional love is not from a parent. Parents are older and they're in their heads a lot and they have their own traumas to deal with and they're not focused on their kids and they're craving relationships and they're craving to be loved outside of their kids, right? They want that partner. They're always like hungry for it. All right. I have a story where, I know a few people, but, from people I know, someone who's like, was a devout mother, but always had that deep emptiness inside, like not feeling worthy or value of herself. And she had said, I'm done. I'm settled. I'm comfortable with my life, but I know I feel people very deeply, so I can tell there was a void in there. There's like a hopelessness, like, who will want to marry me, a single mom with kids, or be with me, or, and then the first person that showed up, she jumped right in, which I get. I had done that, right? The first person that showed me value. And all of a sudden, that person became her God. And this is many women. God God, was the man, and like everything dropped. Like no one mattered, not even the kids. Nothing mattered anymore. It was just the God. And yet that man is not the one that's actually giving unconditional love, right? It's just a fulfillment. Right now I need it. It's like an addiction. There's an addiction in craving a partner. And it's to recognize that addiction. Just recognize the addiction within you. It's an addiction, right? Because you're not in serenity. You're not in joy. You're only in joy if somebody shows up. You're only in joy if another human offers you that. But every human being is going through their own crap. Nobody can give you that unconditional. So if you're a mom, please recognize that the closest gift to unconditional love that you can ever offer and receive are your children. They really are. Even if they have tantrums, it's unconditional love. Like the closest thing to source love is the unconditional love kids offer you. Because if you're angry and you're mad and you're ugly, you feel ugly and you are not in a good place, you are happy, whatever state you're in, you're loved. It's the closest you have. And that's the gift for us adults who've grown up here and we receive children, these angels, to give us the unconditional love that is sprinkled upon us constantly from source in human form. So your unconditional love, you're actually receiving it, and you're still looking outside of it, if you're mothers. And if you don't have kids to experience that right now, or like zone in and really tap into the truth, you're receiving it everywhere around you, right? Even if you're feeling lonely and there is somebody there that is offered, that loves you unconditionally, but maybe you're just like I'm used to struggle, I'm used to pain, like whatever it is. Discover what it is that is making you crave either jumping from one relationship to the next, which there is no problem if you do that. Do that, enjoy that, have fun in relationships. Just recognize what is the drive. That's it. It doesn't mean stop. It just means recognize what's the drive. What am I running away from internally? What am I scared of? Right? Why can't I enjoy my life outside of, and this was me, so many wonderful things were happening in my life, but somewhere always here is like, it would be so much better with a partner. Where is my damn soulmate? It would be so much better. It was always there. It was part of my pattern. It was the normal thing, right? And then when I disconnected, when I really looked into it and understood the reasons behind craving it so badly since I was 9, was because there was fear in there. I didn't feel significant on my own. I wanted that partner because I would feel like I am loved. And when I discovered God, discovered God, because whatever God I was loving before or worshiping, I was afraid of. And I had all the religions in my head, which there's nothing wrong with the religions, but in general, the religious fears and the sinful and the, you've got to constantly be in please God forgive me for all my sins all the time. I was there, so I couldn't love God. I feared God. But when I started to love and build a relationship with God in a very different way, I'm starting to feel fulfilled. I'm starting to feel loved. For the first time, I feel seen, and not by a human being. I feel loved. I feel safe to be loved. I'm going to cry because it's just, it's such truth. I'm finally seen and loved by God. And it only had to do with me shifting how I perceive source. I had to shift. I had to see my fears of God and my fears of being alone, and discovering the wonder and the beauty of my soulmate being source. I get it. I get it in a knowing way and not in a mental way. And it's interesting to share this today because this is not, I'm like, when I got the information from source, I'm like, how can I help today? And I got craving a partner. I actually got craving relationships, but then there was also friendships, which I'll talk about later. So I made it partners specifically. I was like, but I'm not completely resolved. How can I offer? And I was told, just speak the truth of where you're at and how it feels. And the truth is that I felt incomplete without a partner. And I'm feeling a lot more complete. And the shadow of, well, when you're healed, you'll meet them. Like, it's as if getting my soulmate was my reward for doing good stuff, for being a good girl. It's as if getting my soulmate or being successful or whatever it is was my reward from the divine telling me you did a good job. Now you deserve, now here you go. This is your gift, your soul partner, the perfect partner for you. That's what I thought it was. But it isn't. It's beautiful. Who wouldn't want it? I still would love to have it. But I'm noticing that my standards are high, and I will keep them high because it heightens me up to myself. So all I want to share is I spent the majority of my life happy and joyful, but kind of sad and depressed that I didn't have that soulmate partner to share it with. And today when I speak, and it's pointless, because what is. I am single is what I am, and it must be. I have no doubt now. It must be for me, being done for me, for the highest and best for me. This, the creator of all the divine, the beauty of source, must be doing it for me. And my little self, my egoic self, my little self is craving something because it's part of what the program is, part of what, it's supposed to be married, have a good job, white picket fence, the kids, all that. It's part of the program, the human egoic program. And I don't want that anymore because it's painful. It's painful to feel that my wishes aren't coming true. It's painful to feel that I'm single and alone and I'm not deserving of a great partner when I have a beautiful life. When I look outside of that, I'm like, yeah, ups and downs everywhere, but I've connected to Source in a different format. Source is love. Just when I'm down, I speak to God and I'm like, dear God, I'm feeling like crap, like I would have with a friend. And all of a sudden I just say, could you help me through this? I don't know what to do. And the help comes. What better partner can somebody have? So it's really lovely to feel at peace inside, because what I've looked for my whole life was God. He's my soul, or she, it. I call it it. It is my soul partner. It is my truth. And it's only in speaking to God that I feel things get resolved. I get answers. God's my buddy, my friend. God loves us. That's why we're here. God loves us so much because we wanted this experience. We wanted to experience unconditional love that we can offer. We've received, now it's our chance to offer it. So receive the unconditional from those around you. Receive the unconditional from Source. And it's okay. One of the healings for me was, it's okay. It's okay if I crave a partner. I even tapped on that. I want a partner. Why? Where's my soulmate? I want my soulmate. It's okay. I can have that. I can have that desire still. It's dimmed down completely. But I can have that desire still and still have fun. So instead of denying it and pushing it away and saying, well, I'm supposed to not want it for it to show up, I don't care if it shows up or not. There's like a strange thing that shifted and it feels really good inside. And I want you to feel good inside, and I want you to be okay with desiring it. You can desire it. You can crave it. You can want it. You can all this. And you can also be at peace and let it go and feel like you're one with Source. All of it is okay. Neil. Hi, Neil. You have evolved beyond that. Well done. Thank you, Neil. That means a lot to me. Oh. Neil is one of the wonderful people who I actually met in the Art of Living, in the ashram I went to in December, and it was just fantabulous. If you have an opportunity to go meditate in the Art of Living or take any of their courses with Sri Sri, do it. It's wonderful. It's a whole other paradigm of shift and wonder. It was a true gift. I was searching for it for a really long time, and then I asked Source. I'm like, God, I know there's an up-leveling. I know there's something I want to do, and it's a meditation, and I want it with a guru. And I was just talking to God. I'm like, I don't know. Is it, Joe Dispenza? Shall I go there? Shall I do that? I want to go deeper in my meditations. And then Sri Sri showed up, 2-hour drive from my house, in an ashram, in a temple. I was like, so talk to God. God just, there's nothing like it, honestly. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to go. I hope this was insightful. You're not alone in craving relationships, desiring relationships. I want you to know that. You're not alone in this whole paradigm. A lot of spiritual people awakening are single. Everyone is going through their own self-discovery. Even if you're in a partnership and you're feeling alone, that's okay. Just go inwards, do you, get to discover you, discover source differently than what you've been taught, and give yourself the freedom. It's freedom not to crave a partner to dim the pain inside, and sit with the pain, be with the pain, accept the pain. Accept, I'm single and it hurts, and so what? And so what? It's a pain, and it's an energy that needs resolving internally. Lots of things will show up. Of course, there's so much more to this topic, but it's been half an hour and I really gotta go. And I love you all deeply. And if you want more about relationships, thank you, Neil. Woo! More about relationships and coming to terms with being single and acceptance and connecting, just leave me comments or questions, and I will answer them for you. I will do my best. I will ask for help. Take care of yourselves. Love you all, and I'll give you a deep kiss. Bye. Bye, Neil. Thank you for your comments. It was encouraging to see some comments.